Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 6570 Family Project, where we are all about building foundations of worth, esteem, and confidence for our daughters so that they can be ready for the world and go out into the world and affect it positively in only the way that they can. And one of those key figures that we're going to talk about today is failure, which can feel like this really big looming word, but it's nothing to be scared about. In fact, I was writing earlier this week about how failure is the F word that your kids are running from, right? They're so scared of failure. So I want to really quickly today give you 3 reasons why failure is a must have in parenting, in childhood, in life, right? And if we can put it into their 6570, which is how many days are in the first 18 years, it is the training zone of life, the training zone for the adult self that they are becoming. If we can put failure in the 6570 and frame it as a positive thing, a necessity, something that every single person goes through, including them multiple times, and then show them how to get through failure and to the other side, then they are going to be much more equipped than if it's just kind of tossed in the corner and tucked away all that time. And then when it does hit them down the road, they will not be equipped in order to face it or get through it. Okay, so number one, the first thing is that failure is on the path to success. The path to success of anything. Think about anything ever in history. Even when you started walking, when they started walking, if you've ever water skied, I don't know why that just came into my head, but water skiing, right? There's so many failures on the way there. Snow skiing, writing something, reading, right? There's so many failures along the way. Every pathway to success is paved with failure. I'm going to say that again. If you have a notebook and you want to write this down, please do. If you're driving, don't, just write it down later on. Okay. The pathway to success is paved with failure. And if we can help our kids understand that now, then, oh my goodness, it will alleviate so much. It has to be that way. And that will take sometimes, many times, you taking the lead, right? We take the lead. That's what the program in the 6570 is called, right? We love and lead our daughters in a way that teaches them how to love and lead themselves, which means we are the first leader. We lead, they learn in order to lead themselves and then others down the line, right? But if we lead by saying, oh, I'm trying this, I'm really trying to get this end result, but I've tried it this way, it didn't work. I've tried it this way, it didn't work. I've tried it this way. I've really failed, but that's okay. I'm on my path to success. And now I know 4 ways that it doesn't work, right? And so really instilling in them that the path to success is paved with failure is so good, you guys. Okay, number two, she has to get to know her shame. She has to get to know her fear and her doubt. Why? I don't want them hanging out on a Saturday night, right? But she has to get to know them so she can recognize them, right? And when we hit failure, oh, those love to come out. Those gremlins love to come out, right? The fear, the doubt, and the shame. So she needs to be able to recognize them so that she sees them in the crowd. They're always going to be around. They will never get gone. Okay. But if she can recognize them, then she can say, oh, yeah, I know you, and I know you. Go to the back, right? Go to the back. And then those seats that they were taking up, right? They're like I'm going to a concert this weekend. So this is on the top of my head. And, we're on the floor in the back. But if we move up, right, we're just up on the floor over there. We've taken somebody else's seat, this sold out concert, right? And you go up there, you've taken somebody else's seat. So she needs to be able to see the shame, the fear, and the doubt and say, go back to your seat so that growth, development, and maturity can regain their seats that they had. Okay. So fear, shame, and doubt needs to head on back. But in order to do that, she needs to be able to recognize them. That's a lot of self-awareness that comes. It's a lot of self-awareness that comes with failure. Okay. And there needs to be, that is who her cabinet needs to be. And I was curious about the word cabinet because, you think about the president and his cabinet, like where did that come from? Right. Well, it comes from the Italian word cabinetto, which I am sure I am pronouncing wrong. And you got to have the hand, right? If you're doing Italian, cabinetto. And it stands for a small private room, a good place to discuss important business without being interrupted. Now, question, would you rather that small private room, AKA her head, her thoughts, her brain, her feelings, those decisions that are happening, and then the results that come out, would you like that cabinet to be made out of fear, out of doubt, right? And out of, what was our other one? Fear, doubt, and shame, right? I have my notes in front of me so I don't forget. That didn't work well. But do you want that cabinet made out of fear, doubt, and shame? Or do you want that cabinet made out of growth, development, and maturity, you guys? I know which one I want, and I definitely know which one I want for my daughter, okay? But again, in order to get there, she has to go through failure so she can recognize those three and send them back. All right. And then number 3 is failure needs to be defined and not built up to some insurmountable measure that she will not overcome. And what do I mean by this? There's a lot of times that they'll feel down, like they didn't measure up to what they want. And they will even sometimes say that F word of failure, right? I failed. And our first mama instinct, our first parent instinct is to run and say, no, 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 you didn't fail. You're great. It's awesome. But then what are we doing, right? Failure means lack of success. And so whatever they did, that's what happened, right? And that's okay. That's even good. But if we keep saying that wasn't failure, that wasn't failure, that wasn't failure, then they never learn what the definition of failure is until later on after they're out of the 65-70 and they really do fall flat on their face because it's going to happen. It always does. And they will have no idea how to get back up because their whole life they've been told, I have never failed. I've never failed. And now I have, and I don't know how to get up from this, right? So we need to define that and show them what it is and show them that they have the courage, the audacity, the strength to rise back up when they're in the 65-70 so that when it happens later on, they know exactly what to do. And even more than that, they know that they can do it. Okay. So the world has this idea of failure and it'll be told to you. I think the first time I really thought about failure for myself was when it came to grades, right? That was really evident early on. If you get an F, that means fail. And I didn't realize until many, many years later, recently, in fact, that F doesn't stand for fail. It's just the next letter in the alphabet, right? I had just assumed that and taken it for granted this whole time. F is for fail, right? But it just comes after E. It just comes after E, right? But we have that so ingrained in our head that, I remember in The Christmas Story, the big red F, the movie, The Christmas Story, the big red F on the paper in his nightmare that he's having, right? And you see it in so many movies and shows. You might have experienced it yourself. I think I might have experienced it a couple of times in some quizzes during my high school and middle school. But the worldview of fail is shut you down, shame and guilt, all of that right there, right? You can't go anywhere because you are being held down by these things. But that's not true. They need to learn how to get back up because it will happen over and over and over again. I was recently talking with an adult, a 30-something-year-old that had a big failure in their lives, and they're still reeling over it years later. This happened in their early 30s. They're in their late 30s. They haven't quite been able to pick up from that. They didn't learn about failure and how to face it, how to define it, and how to get up from it and move on. It's just on the pathway to success, you guys. So those are the 3 things. I'll go through them one more time real quick. Number 1, the pathway to success is paved with failure, right? And Failure is not the scary F word. And then number 2, she has to know where shame, doubt, and fear are so she can recognize them and move them to the back so that growth, development, and maturity can sit in their place and she can recognize all of these. And that is where she is talking with her cabinet, right, in her head. And then failure needs to be defined so it doesn't become this big insurmountable thing later on in life. Okay, guys. So the question might be, how do I put all of this into what I am helping her build into the foundation that is going to support her for the rest of her life? That will come with the daughter decoder. I'll put that link down below. Totally complimentary masterclass. You want to see this. If you are raising a daughter, get in to see the daughter decoder. I'll put the link down below. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.